All right, guys. All right. It's about that time. I got my trusty fruit punch. It's time to do a great review. Today we have the Octaroon. And for those of you who don't know what the Octaroon is, it is like turn of the century gold. I mean, this play is definitely before its time for a number of reasons. Written by a Dion Boucicault. I don't know if I just royally butchered his name, but I'll leave that to you guys to look it up. Dion Boucicault. He was born in Dublin, 1820. He's mostly recognized for a lot of his native Irish material, excuse me. But like I said, he struck gold with this one. This play is basically about the love interest of a famous slaveholder, George Peyton, and his beautiful slave, Zoe. Zoe, that's my girl. That's my heart. Zoe is the talk of the town. She is everybody's favorite. The part that jumps out to me the most about this play, which is also what made it so controversial, is the way it depicted the main character Zoe and just the overall life of a slave. In that time period, I mean, you didn't really get, if you got any material that depicted slaves in a human-like matter. This play, Dion did a great job of showing slaves in a very human-like or authentic lens. There was a lot of sympathy and understanding for the role and the lifestyle of a slave. It showed them as human beings, other than property, for the first time. And that's what jumped out to me the most. As the black guy pretty much in every room that I go in, it was nice to see something so groundbreaking and something that was so controversial, because of the truth of the matter is it gave us a lens, it gave us a voice, and it was where do I even start? So first of all, Zoe is like every sense of the word tragic mulatto. I mean, the truth of the matter is, she's very seductive. She's sexy. She's attractive. She's a girl that every guy wants. She's eye candy. But there's no way around the controversy that follows her 1/8 African descent. And the truth of the matter is, it forces her towards the end of the play to even take her own life, because she couldn't live with the potential tragedies or consequences or troubles that will come along with the controversy, which was ultimately her African descent. The evil guy, Jacob McCloskey, is basically a guy who has his desires set on owning the plantation and owning Zoe and being the man in charge. He's basically going through extraordinary lengths. He's willing to lie, steal, cheat, destroy anything or anybody that comes in his way of taking the reins and taking over the plantation and ultimately ownership of Zoe. Now, George is hell-bent on not letting that happen, and ultimately love derails the plans of Jacob McCloskey. But the truth of the matter is, Zoe was just destined for a tragic mulatto ending, unfortunately, and she takes her own life because she can't deal with the fact that George may go through certain troubles and his doom may have been written in stone, being attached to her and loving her. And so even though there are a lot of triumphs and barriers broken in this story. There are also a lot of stereotypes that we see with the characters and in the overall story that still have to be overcome even to this day. The fact is there are stigmas attached to being darker, or even between light skin and darker skin African Americans. You know, there are certain stigmas and stereotypes attached to certain races, and there's just no hiding it. And in this story, it ultimately forces Zoe to make the tragic decision to take her own life. But truthfully, I mean, this play is unique in its own right, originally produced in 1859 in New York City. And like I said, I mean, it created such a controversial splash and spark because it sympathized and gave you a human lens into black people and slaves, the first of its kind. So great play in my opinion. If you can get past all the 1800 Southern slang and racism in the script, it could definitely be a great read. Something I definitely recommend. The first N-bomb is literally dropped within like the first 3 lines of this play. So like I said, if you can dig your way through and filter out all the Southern twang and slang and racial slurs and things of that nature, it could be an eye-opener. Like I said, this play is turn of the century gold. The writer did a great job of depicting a different side of an entire group of people. And up until this point, that hadn't been done much, if at all. So that's pretty much my opinion and my review of the Octaroon. A great story, racially charged, great love story in it, and overall it was a great read.